All right, we're live. Welcome everybody to my channel. This is John, Carnivore Backwoods. Today for our live, we're going to be talking about health benefits of the carnivore diet. Let me introduce some of my guests here with me. We got Larry with Carnivore Soldier. How you doing today, Larry?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm getting a double playback. Hold on a second. Let me check my
You got
my
a window
audio.
open? Oop, we lost him. We'll move on here. All right, JT with Poco Moonshine Family. How you doing today, bud?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Tiger Gang? I'm doing good, man. How you doing, John?
Good, sir. Good. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be awake.
All right, Brian, how you doing today, sir?
I am good.
Carnivore.
I'm good. How's everyone?
Good. Somehow we lost Larry there. He's completely fallen off the map and not on the stage. Hope he didn't hurt himself falling off. Oh, there's DC. All right, 1 second here. All right, and we got David, DC Learning to Live. How you doing today, bud?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you being here. And all right, and once again, Larry,
he's back.
You fall off the stage, sir.
I did. Hey, how you guys doing, man? All right. From Austin, Texas, it's Carnivore Soldier.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being on here. We're starting to get some people falling in. We look like we're up to 18 so far. It's been a rough week for me. I had a head cold. I've been fighting it all week. Just finally getting over it. For a couple of days there, I sounded kind of like Donald Duck. I was so nasally, but things are getting better, and got some exciting stuff going on. So next Sunday, we're going to have Dr. Tony Hampton on the stream. And so that's going to be a great interview and time, with our special guest, Tony Hampton. And then Dr. Kiltz has just confirmed for the 22nd. And so I'll be putting that live stream together. And we're going to have a live stream with Dr. Robert Kiltz. So there's some good stuff coming down the pike. Definitely want to mark your calendars and keep that one in mind. And, come in and ask your questions, because we're going to have the doctors in the house to answer some questions. JT, you got anything you want to announce this week?
Put up a bunch of new merch. Some of it thanks to John. He sent me some cool designs, so I appreciate that. I've got a new interview with my Gramps that I just did yesterday. I've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. I just haven't had a chance to edit it all, but stay tuned to the channel. I appreciate you guys, Tiger Gang.
All right, Brian, what do you got going on this week?
So I should have an interview with semi-retired Bob, where he interviewed me, going out on his channel here in the next day or two. And then I'm going to be interviewing him, and that'll come out on my channel. And, I've got like live streams. Well, after this one, I guess I don't have one until Thursday. I kind of take a little bit of a break from live stream. So I got my typical Thursday evening live stream, and then I'll just be working on regular content throughout the week.
All right. Well, let's go down to Dave real quick. Dave, you're new on the channel. We appreciate you being here. Tell us what's going on in your life. Tell us a little bit about your channel. Tell us how to find your channel.
Okay. Thanks for having me on, first, John. I really appreciate that. I'm DC Learning to Live. And basically that's what I'm doing. My channel is all about learning to live again and starting again after, pretty much rebuilding everything after health problems. And at the moment, what I've got going on, working on a little bit of some content at the moment, talking about health, improving health with our diet, obviously carnivore, and getting off drugs for one, getting away from pharma, bringing back independence. And I think coming up soon, actually on the 14th, I'll be talking to Larry. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Outstanding.
And actually, I'll be having from the 19th to the 3rd of November, I'll be in Japan for a couple of weeks. So I'll be getting a heap of content from Japan while I'm there. I'll be doing a tour of what they call meat yakiniku tabi holiday restaurants, which is all you can eat barbecue meat restaurants in Japan. So I'll be bringing someone that home with me.
See if you see Dave Mack there.
You need to reach out to Dave Mack.
He's in Tokyo. Yeah, I'll be
Come bring
about
the wig.
yeah.
I'm
I'll
not
be
exactly
a
sure
little
where
bit
he's at in
north.
Japan, but yeah, you should email out to him. I mean, you'll at least be in the same time zone with him, and see if you guys can hook up or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool, actually. Yeah,
I got his email if you don't have it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right, I'll shoot it to you after the live today. All right,
Thanks, man.
Larry, you moved all the way to the last place on here. You're up at the top box. Now you're down at the bottom. Are you happy today?
That's okay. I like it because you're going to start doing stuff in reverse. I know you're going to say, all right, let's start from the bottom. That's always my luck. But so today I've got this, and then I just released yesterday the latest Mission Carnivore interview, which if you haven't checked it out, is Carnivore Scott Price. He's an Air Force retiree. So he talked about his first 80 days, which actually it was 79 yesterday, but we called it 80 for the video, and his successes and what he thinks about it. So that was really valuable. Wednesday, I have my Hump Day live stream with several people on it. I think you might be on it, John. I don't know if you're on that one or not. I got to look.
I'm going to be on there, but I'm going to be a little bit late to it because I have an interview with a former fat girl.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to go right up to yours. And so as soon as I get done with that one, I'm going to run across town and jump in on your stage.
And I got to get her on too, because she's a vet, Air Force vet. So I'm going to get her story on here too. And then Friday is DC. We're going to be talking his story and just, I mean, if you haven't seen the cancer story he's got and the earthquake and tsunami, I mean, he's quite the wimp to only be one tsunami, only one earthquake, and only a couple bouts of cancer. And he thinks it's a big deal. But anyway, so we're going to talk about that. Anyway, I love to watch a winner. I love to, I'm a big proponent of resilience. And resilience is not about not getting knocked down. It's about getting up and how you get up and how fast you get up and how effectively. And it's a skill that you have to learn. And the only way to learn resilience, you can't read about it. You got to get knocked down and get back up. And this guy, DC, is a resilient cat, man. He's my kind of guy. So I want to talk to him and find out, his story on resilience and how he built that up.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Me and DC have been talking. David and I have been talking. So we're planning some stuff too. I'm on Facebook and social media quite a bit, as you guys are aware, and I'm always posting some inspirational stuff. But he's beating me to the punch most mornings. I get up and there's a fresh post from DC Learning to Live with some really inspirational stuff. So if you're not following him on Facebook, make sure you reach out and look at find his Facebook page. It's DC Learning to Live on YouTube. Is it also DC Learning to Live on Facebook? I don't have that in front of me right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's the same on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, definitely give his channel a check. I'll see if I can throw it up here in a little bit to give him a plug for his channel. All right. Well, guys, I just want to thank my supporters here real quick. Let me flip over here. For those of you guys that are on there, if you're into carnivore crisps, they're supporting my channel. They give me a 10% discount. You can get the coupon code there, Backwoods, and save 10% on every order. So check that out when you have a chance. And we will move on to our subject at hand. So, David, you're overcoming, or you're recovering. I don't know. That's not even the word I wanted. Tell us about your cancer story. Tell us about how cancer and carnivore come together. Tell us, where you're at.
Oh, that's a long story.
That's okay.
Where I'm at right now, though. All right. Well, I'll just cut to where I am now. Okay, so I've had 2 diagnoses of stage 4 follicular lymphoma. It's a recurring type of blood cancer that just means that it will. The only hope you have is a remission period, and the more you treat it, or the heavier you treat it, the shorter the remission periods are, and the more treatment you need going throughout, well, for as long as you can handle it, as long as your body can handle it. I had my second diagnosis within 2 years, even though I was still being treated. I had been treated a solid 2 years before and still got the second diagnosis. So that turned into 3 years of solid chemotherapy, basically. But I've kept it in remission now for 9 years on low carb diets, mostly eating, just meat. There was a period there where it was, a mixture of everything, because there was that period where you just think, well, hang it, what's it going to do? Give me more cancer, sort of thing. So I ate everything. But after cleaning it up and then going carnivore, all of my blood markers right across the board, my lymphocytes, platelets, and everything have, in my most recent blood tests, have all come into a normal, healthy blood range for the first time in 12 years.
Nice. Way to go, brother.
So it's it's like I keep saying, it's a healing diet. It's a healing way to eat, and it's the proof is in the black and white. It's about right now. I've gone from unable to move on 40 plus different medications down to 0 medications and
doing pull-ups.
Not only, well, pull-ups. I can do pull-ups with a hand clap at the top. So I'm doing all sorts of things. Deal. Yeah. So it's a whole. It's given me a whole new life.
That's outstanding.
There's going to be a lot of people who are inspired by David, man. They're in positions where they got cancer. They'll be like, wow, dude, if this dude can do it, I'm on it. So I'm proud of you, dude. You're going to inspire a lot of people.
Thanks, JT. I appreciate that.
So we can officially say that your cancer is in remission?
It's in complete remission.
Nice.
And it's
outstanding.
And it's, I don't want to speak too soon, because it's, the only way to say, you're going to cure something or overcome it is live to 150 and die of a heart attack or something, But at the moment, I've already done what no one else in the world has done. This is this particular cancer. All the experts will tell you there is no cure. There is only a managing a remission period, and that is it. That if you're lucky, if you survive the treatment,
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. That's one of the biggest things that I'm. This is another thing. This carnivore diet has given me a new mission, and that is to change as many people get as many people away from the standard of care as possible, because more people are dying from the treatment than they are from the disease, which is just, it's bullshit.
Well, the treatment's worse than the disease in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah.
Well, it is.
It feeds the disease too, because the food they eat. I dated a girl who had blood cancer, and she went through all these experimental treatments and immunotherapies and different, like Johns Hopkins. Unfortunately, she had a lot of financial means, but it made her sicker and sicker and sicker because she kept eating they gave her pudding and Coke, and it's just feeding cancer.
It's not just the food either. It's the medications they put you on. A lot of the medications are all steroid-based medications, which drive your blood sugar up. Okay, sugar is a fermentable fuel that feeds cancer.
Yep.
So they feed you all sorts of junk food, no meat, especially in the public hospital system here in Australia. And then they dose you up with more sugar from the steroids. And so basically what they're doing is destroying your body and feeding the cancer.
Yep.
It should be the other. It should be the other way around. You know, it should be feeding your body and destroying the cancer. And, you know, thanks to people like, you know, Professor Seafried, Chafee, Doc Baker, and you know, a few others. You know, that's what I'm doing. You know, I've been starving it. You know, I had lymphoma starts in the lymphatic system. So all my lymph nodes, they were all malignant tumors. So they were riddled right through my body. Plus I had a large tumor wrapped around my aorta. That was about the size of a football, which crushed my kidneys and other organs. So I'm down to one kidney. So even though I've only got one kidney, and they tell me it's, you know, you can't do carnivore on one kidney, sort of garbage. You know, my kidney's perfect. Yeah, and it survived all the chemotherapy as well. You know, that main tumor, that large one, is now nothing but scar tissue. It's completely gone. Yeah. So, you know, they can't tell you that there's no way to treat this stuff when obviously there is.
Yeah, they've just forgotten.
You got my wife.
Well, they just haven't been educated. Yeah.
Absolute amazement. My wife's a registered nurse. She's off camera over here in amazement of your story. So you're truly inspiring, buddy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope. Yeah, I mean, there's more than just the cancer and stuff like it. You know,
Right.
There. I mean, along the way, you know, the tsunami, the diagnosis itself. You know, I had to move to Australia while I was living in Japan, and we lost everything. So I know what it's like to go through tough times. So I'm hoping that people will see that you can come back from anything. You know, tough times that they're not permanent. You know, they're just they're a challenge at the time, and I know how stressful that can be. You know, like, I mean, geez, I know what it's like to lose everything you've worked for. Yeah, and like basically, I went from when I was first diagnosed, I had after losing everything because of it, all I had was a small backpack full of clothes. That was all I had left in the world, and I was sleeping on, you know, friends and family's couches and spare rooms while I was being treated. You know, it's you can, yeah, it's in all of us. The resilience to come back from anything is in all of us, you know. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, take their lives because they think that they've lost it.
Yeah,
but they really haven't. You know, everything that we have is you know, because of what we have inside us. You know? So, and it's always there. You can always get more.
Well, David, we appreciate you being in here with us today, bud, and that is truly awesome. And definitely want to follow your story. If you guys haven't liked David's channel, it's at DC Learning to Live. Definitely give it a follow. You know, and check out his channel. Give him some subs. Give him some likes. Go hit a like button on all our channels. Hit the share button. Let's get his message out there to the world, because people need to know that there is an answer for cancer. You know, it's
Absolutely.
not a complete death sentence. There are possibilities out there. You can starve cancer if you cut the carbohydrates out. I watched a video on Ken Berry did with another doctor, and I'll have to go back and look that one up because I don't know it off the top of my head. But he was talking about the fact that you know, sugar feeds cancer, and you get off the carbohydrates, you can starve cancer.
That's right.
So that if you
get
got
off the medications.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Well, the medications. I mean, even medications that they have to take for just everything else can drive up your blood sugar, can drive up your insulin resistance. There's so many side effects to these medications that they don't tell you about.
No,
I got to piggyback off what you guys are saying. I was at the dentist this week, and they had this big free bowl of suckers for anybody.
At the dentist,
at the dentist, dude.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It is absolutely crazy.
You got to stay
when
in
I was
business
going through
somehow, I
treatment.
guess.
Yeah. While I was getting treatment, you know, like they would give you like you hooked up to IV, so these chemicals can run through your body, and they come around with there's a trolley full of cakes, cookies, and all sorts of other shit. And they feed you all sorts of different, Coca-Colas, and other soft drinks. The main one was actually they literally almost force you to drink ginger ale because the ginger in it is supposed to help settle your stomach while you're being treated. So they're just driving sugars, the whole time. It's insane. And I didn't think much of it at the time because I just figured, just these are the experts, so, and, some of these so-called experts would tell me that, junk food is actually not it's pretty good while you're going through cancer because, there's not enough nutrients in it to feed the cancer, which it just doesn't make sense even at that level. Like you're thinking, well, there's no nutrients in it. How is it going to help your body in any way? They literally told me if I was, if I wanted something else extra to eat, sort of thing. While I was actually in the hospital overnight, there's a burger shop next door. Like Hungry Jack's. Here it's Hungry Jack's. I think it's called Burger King over in America.
Yeah.
But something like that. And it's like, that's just not going to happen. It's insane. It really is. I think one of the good things was because I was on so many medications through my first round of treatment, I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't keep anything down. So I literally just stopped taking a lot of the medications. I think that really helped. I'm not telling anyone to stop taking medication, but I couldn't keep them down anyway. But so I just stopped taking them after about halfway through. It's just, So these are things we have to change,
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's not like the evidence is not out there, if I can find the evidence, if I can find the studies, so can they.
Well, and those studies have been around a long time, right? From the 1920s and the 1900s when they were starving cancer with rats, but that knowledge all got lost or put away.
Well, locked away, Otto Warburg,
it's still there though. Yeah,
it's still there. But the problem is, these doctors and nurses, they're not bad people, on average. Like the people that I was dealing with, they're good people. I still see my oncologist every 6 months. They just don't know. They just don't understand because they're not educated that way. And I wasn't either. I was a strength and conditioning coach, and I wasn't. I did do a lot of nutrition, but the thing is, it's the education system is all geared towards feeding pharmaceuticals. So eat low-fat diets. If you want to get lean and healthy and fit, eat low-fat diets. And it's completely opposite. Which is right now 70% of my diet comes from fats, and that has improved my health more than anything. I do other things. I do a lot. I do deep breathing exercise, and of course exercising is key as well because and this is actual proof that we are built to move. Our lymphatic system needs movement. It needs muscle contraction to push that lymph fluid around your body, and your lymph fluid is made up of fat soluble vitamins, minerals, proteins, white cells, and it's also the waste, collects waste from your mitochondria and other things. So, for your bone health, for your immune system, for all your nutrients, you need fats, and this is something that, and you need fats and movement to be healthy, the increase in fats has, it used to be, I would take months, literally months to get over a cold, Last month, I started getting a cold. I had a sore throat. I was starting to bring up some mucus. I increased my fat intake. I kept moving. I didn't stop going to the gym. I didn't stop doing any of my routine, and it was gone in 2 days.
Nice.
So,
Awesome.
To go from battling a cold for 3 months down to 2 days is just incredible for me. A flu would, a couple of years ago would put me back in hospital. So, it's not like, if I can do this, then it's not like it's impossible for anyone else. Anyone can do this. And I'm pretty sure, it's not going to take a lot of education or re-education for doctors to understand that either.
No, I mean, we have the receipts. I mean, you're a living proof of it. We're all living proof of what we've all gone through. We've all got the receipts to prove what we're doing is not only working. We're striving. We're thriving. Here's DC Learning to Live's YouTube channel. DC Learning to Live. He currently has only like 242 subscribers, and honestly, that number needs to move. So share his channel, share his information, subscribe to his channel. Let's help get his message out there to the whole carnivore community. Share it on your favorite groups. I don't care. Put it somewhere just so that everybody can see it, because I really think that this message really needs to resonate across the whole entire community.
You see that top photo there to the left, or the tubes hanging out of my chest. That was going into the transplant that nearly, pretty much did kill me. But you see how big and bloated I was. This was after the clinical trial that I went through. I wasn't eating much food. I was pretty much fasting because I couldn't keep it down. But the reason I was so fat is because of the steroids.
Right.
And so you can see how much steroids, boost, increase your blood sugars, because otherwise, how can you put on that much, soft weight,
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I got a couple questions here. Let me pull this off the screen here. We got a couple questions already. Twin Maple says, David, what's the status of your book release?
I'm still working on it. Thank you. It will be, I need to really pull my finger out there. Actually, I've been a little bit busy, sidetracked at the moment. I need
you got a name for it, David?
Yeah, it's called Not Done Yet.
Ooh. Yeah, there should be a chapter in there on resilience.
And then Karen
here, there's some reference to that all the way through the book. Good. How to be resilient, how to see, how to change your mindset about this stuff. Because that's the whole point, is you need to change your mindset. I know it's difficult when you have, or you are hit by hard times, and you look at things emotionally. To change your outlook is the key to understanding the situation and getting yourself out of it.
Absolutely. Karen here says, what do your doctors think? I'm assuming she's referring to your carnivore diet. So how's the doctor responded to that?
Well, my oncologist actually is pretty good. Last time I saw him, he was so impressed because before going into carnivore, my previous blood test, all my blood markers had started to drop again, and they were all quite low. But 3 months into carnivore, they all jumped right across the board, 10 points on average. And he was so impressed with my energy levels, my mental clarity, everything, just my whole healthy being. He was actually considering starting the carnivore diet himself.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do next time I see him, I'm ordering another copy of Professor Seyfried's book, and I'm going to give it to him. Cancer as a metabolic disease, hoping that he will read it, and maybe I'll try and convince him to go carnivore himself, because he's the same age as I am. Every time I see him, he just seems to get sicker and sicker. Like he's always catching colds and flus and things.
Who's the doctor? Right, you're turning into the doctor.
Yeah. So hopefully I can convince him, and maybe I mean, there's not really much chance he could do anything about the protocols at the hospital, because he's pretty much trapped in the system himself. But maybe, we can help push a change. Maybe, I'm not sure. But like the system here is so jacked up. It's just crazy. Like when I was on medications, when I was going through treatments, he would actually have to call an accountant to get approval to give me medications. Like why is the oncologist asking for approval for prescriptions from a bloody accountant? What the hell does an accountant know about what medications I need? It's insane.
It is.
But that's
what happens
that's what happens when you get a socialized medical system.
Yeah, bureaucracy gets involved and everything goes that way. I mean, when I was in the Army, I remember that we have a counter artillery protocol. So if people fire rockets or missiles in, we can target them immediately because we have radar that tells us where they're at, and then we can fire on them. And that's the way it used to work for years. But then around 2008 or 9, I think, they introduced lawyers, so that what had happened was, okay, now we got the target, we're going after counter artillery. Let's send it off to the lawyers, and then the lawyers actually go to artillery school to learn what kind of shells they're using. And then, so you got lawyers in there determining whether they can fire back. And then you only have 2 minutes to return fire because they'll leave. So it's like most of our missions got canceled because lawyers. It's ridiculous, but that's what happens. Government just, good idea fairies come in and they start interjecting themselves in everything they have no business in. Like accountants have no business in that. But that's what happens.
Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully we can change the world.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Guys, if you got questions for David here, please put them in the comments. Put some cues in front of it. I'm going through and looking for them. Definitely worth talking to here and having some questions of. Honestly, I don't even feel like my health changes are anywhere near what David's dealing with. So, I'm in awe of you that you're dealing with what you're dealing with, and the fact that you've gone carnivore and it's helping. That's just awesome. And
it takes all of us to do this. Like, whether you are doing this for overcoming health issues or just trying to prevent health issues, this is something that everyone needs to sort of. This message is not just about mine; it's about everyone's.
I agree.
We, as a population, we need to demand better healthcare, better education, and unless we all do this, then it's just not going to change.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. The mindset is to treat the problem, not to cure the problem, and we need to reverse that. Right. We need to cure.
It's all about keeping us. Yeah, it's all about right now. It's all about keeping us dependent.
Mm-hmm.
This Absolutely. Is. I mean, this to me, it's not. This is not just about my story. This is about bringing back independence. Like, if we can make people or show people that by becoming responsible for what you consume, be it food, education, everything. You are building your own independence and your own freedom again, because at the moment we are all dependent on pharmaceuticals. The education feeds the food industry feeds pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And this is something, this is what's running the world. Like if we want to be independent, if we want to be free, then we need to be responsible, and we can be our own doctors. We can take care of our own health.
Absolutely.
And it's just something that everyone needs to. They need to be intentional. The biggest problem we have in the world is that people don't think anymore, because they just react to life instead of leading it. They just everything is given to them. All their information is given to them. We're pretty much hand fed. That we just go to the supermarket, we can pick up whatever junk we want. We don't even have to do that. We don't even have to leave our homes to get fed anymore. Just call up Uber or deliver a pizza or whatever. But look at what it's doing to us. We're just immobile, don't move, completely. Just largely sedentary people. Nearly, I think it's like in some of the stats just for America, like 70% of people are obese. They're not fit enough to even join the military at the moment.
That's fact. I've seen it.
Yeah. This is, it's insane. We just got too complacent, and we got too used to everything being fed to us, rather than, finding out, okay, is this what I really want? We don't even think about what we want anymore. We just expect it to be, well, let's grab a burger, let's grab a pizza or something.
I tell people all the time that, it used to be if you got a doctor said, hey, you got such and such, and this is what we need to do. 20, 30 years ago, you said, okay, I'm going to get a second opinion before I do this. Now we're just like, okay, let me take the pills. Let me do this. I mean,
well, they rush you in as well. Like, if you ever go to like buy a used car or a new car or something like that, the sales guys are trying to rush you into sign the papers as soon as possible. Yeah, it's the same thing with the hospitals. As soon as you get the diagnosis, they want you in the hospital that day. That's what it was like for me. It was like, when I came over to Australia and I was visiting my family. They were about a 4-hour drive from the city hospital out in the countryside. And when I decided to stay to get this all checked out, my GP sent all the data over to the hospital. And the day my wife arrived, they called me on the 4th of January. It was. They said, "Oh, we'd like you to come into the hospital," and it like that night. So like we didn't go that night. We went the next morning, but as soon as I arrived, 10 minutes later, I was in the hospital bed. I was being admitted. There was no asking like, how do you want to do it? How do you want to proceed? How do you want to, They just said, look, we have to run all these tests. You have to stay here. You have to do this. You have to do that. And honestly, like your head just is spinning. You've got teams of doctors and just everyone's throwing information at you. And they gave me about 3 inches thick of all these pamphlets and booklets and stuff to go through reading and stuff, which obviously you're not going to read in a very short period. And the next day they start doing tests. So it's get them in as quick as possible, dose them up, and get on with it. That's about it. So,
I got a couple more questions for you here, David. Let me get this one here. Wants to know, is David prior military? ?
No. Military family. Both parents, Navy. Actually, most of my family are Navy. And growing up, all my aunts, uncles, aunts, cousins, all Navy. But I was sort of the black sheep of the family and didn't go into the military at all. Yeah, I just wanted to do things differently.
Okay. And then we got this question too for you here. It says, sorry I'm late, but does Dave have a personal relationship with our Lord and Creator? So, somebody's asking your religious stance. Feel free to answer it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all do, whether we know it or not. We all do. I'm very spiritual, and yeah, you can't go through everything I've been through the last 12 years and not be. There's a reason I survived. So I just, you can't not be a believer in God after going through everything like that. Yeah, because there is a reason for everything. And I couldn't have got through all that by myself. So
here's another question for you. I have a disappointing blood panel come back a couple days ago. Triglycerides went from 162 to almost 200. Laughing out loud, what the hell could cause that on 10 carbs a day, or less than 10 carbs a day? What?
Well, there's a lot of factors that could affect that. Could be the carbs. Yeah.
I mean, it all depends where you started out at too, because a lot of people's bodies take years. I know Laura Spath said that her first couple years of blood work were bad, and then everything normalized like at 2.5 years or 3 years. So maybe some bodies are just doing a lot of healing. I don't know. I mean, that's just you just don't know. Everyone's a little different. And also when they give you the standard answer of what healthy is, that's based on our populace right now.
Yeah.
And everyone is a little bit individual. So
yeah,
it could be normal.
All these markers that they go through you, like they judge you on, are all BMI, which is just body mass index sort of calculations, which is utter garbage because we are all differently sort of reactive. So, when I went on a heavy meat diet and carnivore diet, all these sorts of things will take time for your body to adjust to. So things will fluctuate. Give it time and your body will settle down.
Yeah, I think give it time, your body will settle down. But also remember that sometimes, I mean, it could have been something you ate the night before. I mean, these tests, that numbers change. If you went back there and tested again, an hour later, you would have got a different number. So, exactly. I would wait some time and go in after fasting and, see what the numbers are. And if they continue to be high, then I get concerned. But I wouldn't get excited about one test just yet.
Yeah. And stress levels can change it. Right. Nicotine, caffeine can change it. A lot of things can change it. So it just depends. I mean, I know there's a lot of factors. And like he said, not one test. Don't go with one test. You want to get multiple data points.
Yeah, I'd also say too the time of day. So if the first time when I think they said it was like 160 or 140 or something like that, was that at the same exact time of day that you had the blood work done the second time? Because that can be a difference too, just the time of day, how long you fasted before getting the test done. If you worked out the day before, all of those kinds of things can make a difference in your levels.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just going to say your activity level will change your blood markers as well. If I know for me, if I hit the gym like the day before a blood test, all my markers will be lower than like previous blood test sort of thing. So I usually take a day off before my blood test. So because that will activity level will change your blood counts as well. So there's so many different things like you're all saying. It's just I wouldn't go on one blood test. I would certainly wouldn't be worried about one blood test anyway.
And it depends on the lab and how they did it too, because labs can the way, I forget what it was, but on triglycerides, I know there's a certain way they can do it where they can mess up the results. So I forget what it's called, but I was reading that the other day. So definitely don't take one lab thing and be all bummed out. Go get another one. Make sure everything's right, and then just check it, and then do multiple data points.
Yeah. Actually, I was just thinking about some stats. Like treatments. Cancer and heart disease are the two biggest killers in Australia and America. But the third highest killer is pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
So these are. How can that be possible? Everyone's worried about heart disease. Oh, I don't want to get eat too much fat because I'll have a heart attack. The third biggest killer is pharmaceuticals. Directly, on every stat right across the Western world. So it's crazy.
Yeah, so the falsely elevated triglycerides are often a result of clinical laboratories utilizing glycerol levels to report triglyceride concentrations. It's called glycerol blanking. So you want to get a lab that'll do glycerol blanking, otherwise you can get false highs. So that could be happening too. You don't know, right? Yeah. Especially because I know you're a vet, because I know this guy Dave, he's a veteran. He goes to the VA like I do. I don't know what their standard is. Be interesting to find out if they're doing glycerol blanking, though. You can ask them that. Hey, did you do did the lab do glycerol blanking, or could this be a false high? So you could ask that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the point is you shouldn't rely on one blood test.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to throw this in here. It says, "Hi, I'm a vegan. I was on vegan diet for 4 years, about died from gut damage. Then went carnivore and diet got healed. Outstanding. Nice. Congratulations."
Yeah. It is a healing diet, like you look at it, there's so much data. That's what got me into it. Like when I found Baker, and I looked at everything that they were doing with diabetes and other things, that's what really convinced me. There's just so much evidence out there. You can't ignore it.
Yeah. We got Carnivore Kip in the house. Hey, Kip, Carnivore Kip Barbecue and Cast Iron. Welcome, Kip. How you doing today? Kip's going to be, I'm going to be interviewing Kip here next Sunday. For those of you that want to catch Carnivore Kip, he'll be on my channel. Let's see here. I'm looking for questions, guys. Lots of good comments in here, but I'm looking for questions. We'll go ahead and throw this up.
In front of it, guys. Put a Q in front of it. Helps us out.
Put a Q in front of it so I can find it. Here's our gentleman again. He said, I was told it possibly could have been my extra long bike ride the day before, because a lot of exercise the day prior to your blood test could affect on your glucose levels, from what I read. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
And he's a long distance rider. He does like 100-mile rides. So he's a pretty good athlete. I know the guy, so it could be.
Outstanding.
Maybe next time you get a blood test, don't do a ride the day before.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Less is more.
Especially if you're doing long rides. When I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I used to do a lot of triathlon and stuff and marathons. We would ride nearly 1,000 kilometers per week. You get blood tests done at that when you've done that level of cycling or long distance sort of training. Your blood markers are all over the place.
Yeah, you start breaking down protein and making sugars because you need it.
Yeah,
so your body's in the process of doing that, and you could have a carryover the next day. There is a carryover effect on triglycerides. I know that.
Yeah.
So
there is, because it takes you a long time to actually recover from that.
Yeah.
Blood wise.
Let's see here. He said, I'm definitely going to retest in a couple of weeks, but yes, I had fasted about 11 and a half hours, and I did eat a pretty high fat dinner prior to fasting. Yeah, I'd give it more than a couple of weeks. I'd give it a few months. I mean, if you could test yourself into insanity. If you go every time you go there and test, you're going to get something different. So I wouldn't get too overly crazy with it. It's like watching the scale every morning and going and jumping on it. Well, every day you're going to get something different. And one day you're going to be up a couple pounds, and you're going to be down a couple pounds. I mean, it's not good for your mind health to do that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I got a couple questions here. Let me pop these in. Trina says, any suggestions on finding a doc to support carnivore? There's like 2 or 3 different. If you look up low carb doc, diet doctor, there's another one there. I found like 3 different sites. But Trina's local here to where I am. Trina, I've only found 2 in the area that support a low carbohydrate ketogenic diet. One's over in West Knoxville. You can look them up. I think they're both in West Knoxville. One's over off of Hardin Valley, and the other one's over off of Parkside. But that was the only 2 I could find local here. So let me know if you find something else, because I'm definitely looking around for a different doctor for myself.
Just keep firing every doctor until you get one you like. That's as simple as that. You're going to find one who supports you.
I'm half tempted to just start sending them Dr. Barry's books and see if they can learn how to read.
Unless you're in the VA system like me, and then you don't get to do that.
Yeah,
you just get what you're assigned because it's a military hospital, right?
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, right?
But I was pretty happy. My doctor, because they saw my blood work, and then when I told them I was on this diet, they had me come back in 6 months later to another blood panel, and everything improved. And she's like, I'm like, well, and she's like, well, I wanted to put you on some drugs for your thyroid, but you're still in normal, and everything's getting better. Plus, you've lost 30 pounds. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like this, and I said, I'm just going to keep doing this. She said, yeah, I agree. Your body's responding well. Keep doing it. But then, like, she couldn't help herself. She's like, just make sure you eat low-fat proteins. And I mean, and I saw her catching herself saying that, and I'm like, no. And it's like it's just ingrained so much that's what she says.
That was part of their paradigm. They need to reprogram.
That was my conversation with my doctor. We went through well, you're looking good. Your blood pressure, your sugars, all this stuff's looking good. Oh, but we're going to have to get you on Metamucil because you're going to have some fiber in your diet. I'm like, no.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's the education.
It is.
Yeah, it's the education.
And so ingrained.
And some of it's education. Some of it's just the system. The system is broken, and the people who are controlling it aren't doctors. They aren't medical. They're the ones controlling the dollar bills and who's paying what. And we need to overcome, the hierarchy and the structure and get it reset up to where it actually is about curing patients, not treating them.
Well, all the dollars are lined up against us. That's the problem. All the dollars are because I don't know how it is in Australia, but we have the Food and Drug Administration. So the government is there managing the food and drug and being funded by the food and drug companies to make us sick.
That's exactly the same here.
And they're part of the USDA.
It's called the TGA. Yeah, here it's called the TGA. It's exactly the same.
It's terrible.
Except it's I would say it's more corrupt here. At least you guys have a base of freedom. Australia's never had freedom. So
Carnivore Kip got a question.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Carnivore Kip says, "What are y'all's single greatest improvement?" JT, you want to start, and then we'll work our way around.
No more sleep apnea, man. I used to wake up, and my lungs just would not breathe. They would not work, and it was worse than other times. But when you wake up and you can't breathe, you're just at death's doorstep a lot quicker than you thought you'd be. So I appreciate not having sleep apnea. It went away so fast. It went away within the first month on the carnivore diet. So I'm just glad that I don't go to bed in fear that I might stop breathing in the middle of the night and die. So I have no more fear of dying at night. So no sleep apnea.
Outstanding.
JT.
Brian, what's your single greatest improvement?
Well, there's been so many, but if I had to pick one single greatest one, it would have to be recovering from AFib, not having AFib episodes anymore. I used to have a couple a week, and that's like a heart thing where the signals get mixed up and your heart starts racing and then go back to normal and then racing and so forth. And I'd have a couple a week, and I haven't had one in almost about 14 months now. I haven't had a single episode, and I've been on carnivore for 15 months. So that's how quickly it healed for me.
Outstanding.
Yeah. I had the same
My wife
problem
wants to
after
say, Brian,
chemotherapy.
my wife asked, "Are you on any medication still to control your AFib?"
I'm on a blood thinner still. I go back to the cardiologist a little less than a month from now, and the last time we talked about taking me off of that, he wanted to see me lose a little bit more weight before he did it. So we'll see what he says this time. I'm I'd like to get off the blood thinner, but I'm not necessarily gonna, like, if he says, well, I still want to keep you on it, I don't think I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna go off it. I think I'll wait another 6 months if that's the case, because I think I could lose more weight still. But we'll see what he says. He might be fine with taking me off it now.
Sounds like you're on your way, though. Eventually.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Larry, what's your single greatest improvement?
So if I had to lose all my benefits from carnivore and I could only keep one, it would be my mental health, because I was at a point before carnivore, and I don't know if I would be able to keep it if I didn't have all the other benefits too, because basically my body was breaking down. I'm 57, right? I came from being an athlete and being an athletic soldier to barely hanging on my last couple of years in the military, and not even be able to run my last year because injuries were piling up and the weight was coming on, and my body wasn't responding to exercise like it had. I used to do CrossFit and stuff, and I couldn't do any of that stuff anymore. The injuries were just too much. And then so basically I'd gone for my whole life being a planner and looking forward and being excited about my life and what I was going to do. Even in my late 40s and early 50s, I was kind of that way. So I'd gone to the point where I was just, okay, I'm just going to hold on and try not to die early and not get too sick. And I was just like coasting down and looking forward and seeing my dad and his wife and looking and thinking that's my future. Or my mom, who died of Alzheimer's at 67, 10 years from where I'm at now. And I'm thinking, well, okay, these are not good outcomes. And after being on this for 6 months, of course, my health's amazing, all the things that happen. But my mind is now, it's like I wake up and I am optimistic for the first time in years, where I look forward and I'm like, I can't wait to meet people, to do things, to go places, to see things. That is a change in me, and no more depression. The anxiety's gone. My my stress levels are way down. So I think that's the one thing I would hold on to, because I think if I had that, I could recover everything else, right? So that's the one thing I value the most.
Yeah, I would say it's much the same, actually. The mental health, I've got a very long list of health improvements, but the mental health has been a huge difference for myself also. Especially after, basically, I had 3 years solid chemotherapy, culminating with the stem cell transplant. My brain was cooked.
Yeah.
All of my organs were cooked. I used to pass layers and layers of thick skin, and I'd bring it up from my esophagus because I was burnt from the inside. But there was a point after the stem cell transplant, I could have a conversation with people. They'd come to visit. I'd have they could be there for hours, have a conversation with them. And as soon as they've left, I would completely forget ever seeing them.
Wow.
Even to this day, I cannot remember the conversations or ever seeing them there. I just rely on what my wife tells me. These people came and saw you. You're talking about this and that, and I still cannot recollect them ever seeing them. and that took a long time to. My memory's still not 100%, but the mental clarity over the years has just improved and improved and improved. And since going carnivore, has been like a cloud lifting off your mind, you know.
Yep.
That has been. I mean, obviously, I have a very long list of these wonderful improvements health-wise. I can move again. That was a really big deal for me, getting off the bed after years of not being able to move, being able to walk again, but being able to think again, that is most important to me, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be my number one. I remember a conversation I had with the wife here a year or two ago where I told her, I said, I'm not as sharp as I used to be. I mean, I used to, it was there, and I was on top of things, and it was starting to get to this point where I was just in a haze, and you'd forget things, and you'd walk into a room and you're like, why did I come in here? And you just start getting this going on, and I started writing it off as, well, I'm pushing 50 and I'm getting old. And I guess this is all old age. And this is what I got to look forward to as I slowly lose my mind, and get older. But the carnivore diet, not only am I sharp again, I'm sharper. I'm doing multiple things. I'm doing YouTube channel. I'm doing Facebook. I took on a bigger position at work, and it's all there, and I'm thinking straight, and I'm planning things, and I'm back on top of things that there for a while was just all mush. So mental health, that's absolutely my number one. And then after that is just curing diabetes and getting off all the medications, and I'm almost off my blood pressure medicine. So that would be my number two. But yeah, mental health is absolutely worth it. If I didn't lose another pound, I tell people all this time, they're like, oh man, you're looking good, you're losing a lot of weight. I said, I don't even care about the weight loss anymore. This is all about the health improvements. I don't care if I lose another pound, as long as I can maintain my health, it's worth every bit of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Losing the weight is just a byproduct. It's about your metabolic health, and that's what's important to everyone. Everyone wants to be healthy.
Yep.
Looking good in the mirror, that comes second.
Got another question. What time was that? From Gail Ivy.
What time?
I'm trying to find it. I'm looking at my sheet. Let's see.
It's a lot of comments.
Yeah. It looks at 12:50, so 1:50 your time.
Must have skipped it by
Gail Ivy, 1:50 p.m. your time.
I'm working back 1 sec here. Oh, I did miss that. I apologize.
Yeah, I've got it here. Look for a man's perspective.
Look for a man's perspective.
Listen to your body. Who wants to tackle that one?
All right. Well, I'll start. We'll work our way through. So I listen to my body is, how I feel about it. If I ate something, I start feeling, start feeling kind of crappy. Your stomach hurts a little bit. You just don't feel the energy. That's, those are things that you're going to listen to your body. Your body's like, hey, I didn't get enough nutrients out of that, or I didn't get enough fat out of that. You're going to the bathroom, and, instead of having, a comfortable bowel movement, you're in there struggling. Well, then you didn't get enough fat in your diet. Or if you're, if it's too loose and you got too much fat in your diet. So it's about seeing how your body responds. Once you've eliminated all of this down to just carnivore, you're going to have a much better understanding of your body, how it affects. Before, you felt so crappy you couldn't hear your body, but now that once you've got down to this diet and you've been on it for 30, 60 days, you really start to get in tune with what your body likes and what it don't like. And I don't know how to explain that any better. We'll work our way around here. JT, what's your thoughts?
Just the way you questioned it, the man's perspective, I don't think it's any different for a man or a woman. We just have to listen to our body. You know, if you're, like he said, if you walk in a room and you can't remember why you were in there, like, I think we've all had moments like that. You get these little things and you're like, man, this could be better. That happens for all of us. So we just got to listen to our bodies, you know, like he said, if you eat something and it gives you heartburn, you know, maybe don't eat that again, you know, or if it makes you low energy, maybe don't eat that again. Or if you fasted too long and felt not good, you know, maybe don't stretch your fasting that long. So I think we all can listen to our bodies, man or woman or whatever. So just take the time. And I feel like I've got a better ear. I feel like with Carnivore, it took the earwax out of my ear to listen to my body, and I'm hearing it better than ever. The smallest little things, you know, I'm listening to. Like my body will say, "Hey, man, enough with the dumbbells. Like let's add something else in." So I bought a jump rope, and you just gotta listen to your body when it's begging you for something extra, something more, something new. Go for it.
Yeah, that's really good, JT.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I completely agree with what's already been said. And for me, I don't think it's probably much different between a man and a woman. I think that, you know, yeah, there's certain things that women have that men don't have, and that might change that aspect, but they're still listening to their body just the same, right? And that's the key, like JT said, when you're doing a carnivore diet, and I think John said this too, you know, you just strip everything down. It's an elimination diet. What you're eating is the proper thing that you should be eating, and no matter what it's talking about, like if you ate something that you shouldn't and your body didn't respond correctly, then for you that's not good. For somebody else, they might not have a bad response to that and they might be okay. And that's what it means to listen to your body is, you know, and same thing, not even talking that, just like how much you're eating and so forth. Everybody eats a different amount. Everybody requires a different amount. And, you know, listen to your body as when your body is full. It's not like eating carbs where you can't really tell when you're really full, right? Because you always have those cravings. Once you've been on carnivore for a while, you kind of know when you're full, and that's when you can stop eating, and you don't have to eat again until you're hungry because you're not going to have a craving like an hour later. So that's what I feel with it.
Absolutely. DC, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I have a code that I live by. I think that the body will do whatever the mind will tell it to do, and the body will teach the mind that it can push the body further as you get to every level. Once you get past every sort of goal. But having said that, you know, like I used to pretty much ignore what my body did. Like before, about 2 weeks before I was diagnosed, but the day I left Japan, you know, I was in the gym. I had very high stage 4 blood cancer, and I was still hitting the gym hard. You know, that day I think I deadlifted nearly 500 pounds, things like that. But what I've noticed about the carnivore diet, you know, I learned to listen to my body after the stem cell transplant because I could feel the meat. I could feel, you know, the body craving the meat and the fats. But what I've noticed on carnivore is that these responses are very immediate, whereas before, like on a standard diet, I feel like the body was pretty much numb, or I just didn't listen to it. But on the carnivore, everything you eat has a very immediate sort of response to the body. If you eat too much fats in the morning, for example, you're going to be on the toilet that day. You know, if you take in something like that's not on carnivore or just reacts differently to you, you'll get reflux like immediately, like that, like in the next hour or so. So I just feel like the body is more sensitive and more alert on the carnivore diet. So everything is a very immediate response, and which is great because you can then adjust immediately as well. You can adjust a lot quicker. So I think that's a great thing about the carnivore diet. And I don't think it matters whether you're male or female. I think the responses are the same. They're always going to be immediate responses.
Agreed. Larry?
Yeah. So coming into a carnivore diet from a standard American diet, you got to understand that, one, eating 3 meals a day is a construct. It's not the way humans eat. Okay. That's just something that fits our schedule. You know, the breakfast being the most important meal, that's marketing, pure and simple. So the other thing is your hunger signals are completely broken because you've been eating seed oil, sugar, processed food, and refined wheat and trans fats. They have broken your signals so that you think you need to eat all the time because you're always hungry. So you can't trust them. You have to go on carnivore to clean that out. And that's the elimination diet. And then you'll find that your hunger signals will be legit, but they're very subdued. They're muted. You have to learn to listen to them. And that's when we say, eat when you're hungry and eat till satiety. Well, you know, we are so used to eating when we're bored and eating when we're emotionally stressed. That's not even hunger. That's just like, I need something in my mouth right now. That's a oral fixation, right? I'm going to eat this cracker or something. So it's a skill you're gonna have to learn. But once you get full on that skill, like today, I haven't eaten yet, and it's 1:12 p.m. I'm not hungry. I listened to my body, right? I woke up, I made breakfast for my son. I watched him eat. I had a glass of water. I'm just not hungry. I'm listening to my body. Yesterday, I ate 2 meals. Day before, I think ate 1. Day before that, I think ate 3. So you just listen to your body and eat when you are hungry. And don't, if you can, I know people have jobs and they have windows when they can eat. I get that. But, you know, your body is not made to eat on this construct diet of breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay, that's completely man-made. That's not natural. If you look at the Inuit or you look at the Maasai tribe, they don't eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. They eat when they're hungry or when they have food. And that's kind of the way it works. So you do have to listen to your body, but you have to learn how. It's a skill. You can't just start the first week and listen to your body because you're going to be eating all kinds of junk. And so when people start the diet, usually I say just get some appropriate snack food and have it standing by because you're going to be snacking. And I was snacking on bacon and all kinds of stuff. I started out eating 3 meals a day and snacking. I shifted to about 3 or 2 meals a day and much less snacking. And then by the 3rd month, I was on 1 or 2 meals a day and almost no snacking. And I think that's a natural progression when you start learning your body. So yeah, so listen to your body, just take some time and some practice. You can't just read about it. You have to experience it.
Yeah, that's great, Larry. Yeah, you're right. Like I was saying, like the standard diet, it leaves you numb. Like you said, all your receptors are just being disconnected basically by all the seed oils and all the junk food. So you just don't know what you're feeling. Really, you can't feel your body so much.
Yeah, it is reactive though. It is because you're actually reacting to. You can't listen to your body proactively, right? I mean, because you're listening for a signal and then reacting to it. That's the way it is. But
I just love how immediate it is on carnivore.
Oh yeah,
you know.
I like to say that you don't have to guess if it's working. Carnivore just works.
That's right.
You start knowing right away.
Right. Yeah. It's just so much. It just makes it so much easier to adjust.
Yeah. Well, I would say this. I say that it's reactive until you understand it. Then it's proactive. So, in the beginning, you're going to react to what your body's telling you. Then by that learning, you're going to be proactive to not do it again. So, it's both. It's reactive and proactive. It's exactly. Learning from what's going on and then being proactive so that you don't do that again.
Yeah. And that's why I'm kind of against, especially when you're starting fasting, because if you introduce fasting too quickly before you've actually learned your signals, you're gonna throw things out of whack. You need to actually listen to your body. Your body will actually tell you if it needs more stuff too. So listen to your body in the beginning. Now later you get advanced, you want to introduce some kind of long fasting or religious fasting, that's fine. But when you first begin, I would just let your body try to find its balance, and that way you can start learning to listen to it. If you start introducing long fasts and dry fast and all these things, it's gonna be really hard because you haven't even mastered your basic signals.
Yeah, you have to understand your signals before you can do a fast properly, because it will mess with you if you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to adjust. Your body needs to store things too before you fast. A lot of people don't have enough iron levels, for example, when they go into fast, and then they just feel that all their energy is drained and they can't handle it, so they start eating again.
Absolutely.
So I think, exactly. You really need to be on the carnivore diet for quite a while before you start a long fast, I would say. I still have not done a very long fast. Basically, fasting for me is from dinner time from 6:30 p.m. to breakfast and 7 o'clock in the mornings, depending if I have breakfast or not. But that's about as long as I fast.
Yeah. The longest fast I'll do has been 48 hours, but I have to prep for that. I have to make sure that I ate a proper meal with with high protein, high fat, preferably ribeye or something along that lines, and then I will do the 48-hour fast from that point. But if I try to do it and I've ate something like chicken or something, heck, I can't even get through the next day half the time after eating chicken without getting hungry at lunch.
Yeah.
Our buddy Kip here is
doesn't have
smoking
any
cheese on the smoker here. So now he's gone from the carnivore diet to the lion diet to the sea lion diet. Now he's on the cheese smoking diet. Poor Kip.
It's better than smoking the ganja, man. So keep smoking that queso dip, man.
Smoke meats, not weeds.
Yeah.
And then Trina says that's a great way to explain it. It works for male and female. Absolutely. All right, let's see what we got in here.
Yeah, we are born with the higher faculty called intuition. Men and women, we're born with intuition, and part of that intuition is listening to your body, what it's saying.
I'm looking through comments, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, Trina's got another question.
For Trina, yeah. At the bottom.
Trina, at what time?
At the bottom.
I see it. There it is. What do we got here? I have never tested my ketones or had my blood drawn since I started. What do you think? Should I go get my levels tested? No, not unless you need to. I mean, there's no requirement to do it. You can do it if you want, but you're if it makes you feel better about it, then absolutely. But I don't see the need to run out and do it. What's your thoughts there, Larry?
Definitely not ketones, because you're going to be in ketosis if you're eating low carb. I did it in the beginning, but that was more of a keto thing where I was managing my carb intake. But on this diet, you can't help but, because you're doing a quote unquote zero carb diet, which is as close to zero as you can get. Don't worry about ketones. They'll be there. That's not something you have to monitor. But your blood work, like they said, I mean, I get my blood work done annually, and whenever they call me to, because they require it, because I'm a veteran and they do that. So other than that, I never used to get my blood work done typically. If you feel good, you use your non-scale victories, your mental health, your physical energy, your motivation, your weight loss, all that. If that's all tracking the right direction, you're probably fine. But I'm not a doctor, so that's just me. That's what I think about myself.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's really no reason to have blood tests. I mean, just go on how you feel. You feel okay. I mean, unless you have a medical problem that you need to gauge it against. I mean, the only reason I take blood tests is because, obviously, for tracking my health conditions. Other than that, I don't see a point in having a blood test done.
And I believe this is pronounced Giacomo. I've been working on this. He's got a YouTube channel. He's out of Italy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that 100% correctly, but anyways, he says, I'm an Italian cook and pizza man in my family restaurant. Unfortunately, I eat only in the night after work. OMAD. In the 2 years carnivore I did the since before, when I was low carb and keto. What do y'all think about that? I mean, that if it's working for you, then absolutely keep doing it.
Yeah.
Eat when you can. I mean, if you can only do, if you're doing OMAD because that's the only time you have to eat, then that's fine. You know, if you're hungry throughout the day, you can always, I'm sure, snack on some pepperoni or something or some sausage.
Yeah, I mean, don't stress too much about what time of the day you eat. If you have like a limited window in which you can eat, then use it. You know, like my wife used to call me the midnight chef because I'd get up in the middle of the night to cook a steak. You know, it's just eat when you're hungry. You know, especially if you're only doing one meal a day, I really wouldn't worry about what time you eat it.
Make a carnivore pizza, man. Just make a pizza crust or a chicken crust, and you can still eat at work, man. You don't got to wait till you get home, man.
Yeah, you can look that up. There's some people that made carnivore pizzas. You might find that entertaining.
Yeah, maybe they can throw it on the menu. You know what I'm saying? We start getting the carnivore stuff out there more. Healthier option. People come in. Just saying.
Yeah.
Carnivore
Kip's got to run on us. So bye, Kip, if you haven't already left.
See you later, Kip.
You got to tell Kip that if he wants some real barbecue, he needs to come down to Texas sometime, and we'll explain to him.
Oh, man, we got a barbecue.
Oh, throwing it down.
Oh, he does smoke, so that's good.
That sounded like a challenge.
Yeah, if he wants to smoke, man.
Throwing the gauntlet.
I'm all about smoking meat.
Oh, I felt the burn all the way up here in Tennessee.
Yeah, I never knew carnivore smoke so much, man.
Poor guy's probably already left and getting burned. All right, guys. Well, we're just under an hour and a half into this. We've gone around here. I mean, I had Dave just kind of got us all in silence there to listen to his story, which was definitely inspiring to hear.
Wait to the audiobook.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about his story as it goes on, and how he's going to overcome and defeat this, and set the story straight.
Yeah,
absolutely. David's
we
setting
all
the bar, man. He's setting the bar, and
he's setting the bar real high. So,
yeah.
So we appreciate you being in here with us, bud. I'm going to go around.
Having me on.
You know, if there's any more questions, now is your time to get in it. I'm not, we've gone through here. I'm not going to drag this all out unless we need to.
Speak now or hold your peace.
Yeah, speak it now. Put the cues in there and ask some questions. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day, and I'm going to prepare for my my live stream tonight with Ketovore Oregon, Becky.
Ketovore, I like this.
Oregonian,
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's work around, and what's your thoughts, JT? What do you got going on? What's your thoughts for closing this out, sir?
Don't compare yourself to someone else's health improvements. Just like when I got all excited watching Kerry get all his health improvements, it wasn't a jealousy. It was like, man, I didn't have all the things he had going on, and I don't have all the things David and everybody else had going on, but we all have our own things, and we're going through them together. But just get excited for your own self, your own results, whatever they may look like. If it's sleep apnea, try to get rid of it. If it's IBS, try to get rid of it. If it's blood cancer, try to get rid of it. If it's depression, try to get rid of it. But don't compare yourself and say, well, this person had this. Just take your time, make good decisions with your diet, drink the water, get the salt in there, stay carnivore, as low carb as you can, and give yourself time to heal, because we didn't make all of these damaging in diseases and things overnight. It took a while for us to get there to do all the damage, and unfortunately it might take some time to undo them. So just be patient.
Good stuff.
Good, yeah.
Brian?
So I'm going to take a little bit of a track here, and I'm going to talk about the hospital food, since Dave was talking about that in Australia. In the US, it's really just as bad. So I had somebody that was in the hospital that I was visiting this past week, and they were in there for heart stuff. The next morning they were going to have a procedure done to have I forget what they call it, a heart cath, where they go in and look for blockages. And so they were on the heart healthy diet in the hospital, which it even says on the menu, it says low fat, low sodium. That's what they go with. And so the eating options were very weird. You could literally order a packet of sugar, a packet of artificial sweetener, or as many packets as you wanted. Anything that had sugar in it seemed to be okay. And it's based on the government's standards, right? The guidelines that they provide. So the hospitals have to follow those guidelines, and it's just crazy. Like under eggs for the heart healthy option, you had to do the alternative, which was just egg whites.
Jesus.
Which is interesting because some people even have allergies to egg white, so they would just eat the yolk, right? But it was interesting. You could have all kinds of salad dressings, which are made with seed oils. It's just, sugar, seed oils, that kind of stuff are fine under a heart healthy option that you have to take if you're in the hospital for a heart type of reason. And then you need to be low fat and low sodium. And it's just crazy. And I think that is unbelievable that we continue to go with that same standard. There's research out there. There's science is always improving, yet the guidelines from the government never change. It's the same story that was fed to us 60, 70 years ago. And it's like, we don't think that anything has changed with science, that we haven't learned that maybe, okay, that actually is good for us and something else is bad for us. That they just don't change. And at some point, I think that the country or the government has to change those guidelines because they're so out of date. And, they originally said that they changed the guidelines because we were starting to see disease trouble. Well, it's worse than it's ever been. And it's always been going up since they changed those guidelines. So when are they going to change those guidelines? I think it's all about money, and they're never going to. But
that's right. It's all about money. They don't want to change the guidelines while they keep us dependent. They don't want one-time customers. They want repeat customers.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, David. Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's they've got us dying slowly enough that we think we're living.
That's the best statement I've ever heard. They got us dying slowly enough that we think we're living. That might become a T-shirt or something. That's a great statement.
It's just the truth. Sorry, if you want to tackle that question.
Yeah, we could throw that question out here. Somebody popped this in here. Primal Mike said, "Any hobbies that can prevent you from sitting still on the couch, crafting, art, modeling, etc." For me personally, I do a lot of YouTube, so that keeps me pretty busy between YouTube and social media. But I also make handmade leather gun holsters, so that's my craft. You can find my Facebook page at Collis Holsters on Facebook. I love making custom fitted leather holsters for handguns. So that's my big hobby. My wife, she's been doing her little hobby. She's got some jewelry she's been making and been doing some knitting stuff. So that's crochet. Excuse me, crochet. I've been corrected. So that's kind of my hobby. I mean, let's just take it around here real quick. We'll answer this question before we move out of here with the rest of everybody. JT, you got any hobbies?
Yeah, a bunch, man. I love just pushing my son around in the stroller or painting some picture frames. I take blank picture frames and I color bomb them to what the poster looks like for movie posters and stuff. So that keeps me on my feet. And YouTubing, half of it's on my feet, half of it's on my ass. I can admit that because I can't sit on my ass to film. I like to go around and interview farms and stuff. So that's kind of been my newest way to get off my ass when I'm YouTubing, is just to go out to these beef farms and show people. So, and that's been fun. I get to go right on the farm, meet farmers and stretch my legs and get some exercise. So I would, visit a local beef farm. You guys get off your ass.
Brian, any hobbies?
Well, I would say that YouTube's probably been my hobby, and I take a lot of time working on that, which doesn't really help, because I'm doing a lot of sitting for that. But really, it's not necessarily a hobby, but just try and walk around and get as many steps as you can. And like I have a desk job, so for work I'm sitting down, but I can get up and walk around, especially if I'm on a meeting. Wear a wireless headset or something and just walk around and so forth, and try and get steps. And even if you're not doing anything else that's more strenuous, at least if you're getting steps, you're moving around.
All right, Larry.
Yeah, I like to hike, and I do wear a weighted vest similar to what DC was wearing on his stairs. I guess that was yesterday or the day before. I do like to wear that vest when I hike. It's similar to what I wore in the military. It's only 40 pounds. I think the regular loadout was like closer to 60 in the Army, but it's still good. And then I do like four-wheeling in my Jeep and working on my Jeep. So I like going off-road. I have a veterans group I hang out with, and we go off-roading together because, a lot of times you get stuck and you got to get the winches out and figure out how to get your vehicle back, recovery, and that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's a lot of physical stuff. And spending time with my son, going to his soccer games and going to his track meets, that kind of stuff. It's fun. I enjoy that stuff. So doing stuff with my son too.
Yeah, I'm much the same. I have a lot of varied interest. A lot of my interest started, different interests started when I couldn't move, so I couldn't get off the bed, sort of thing. But so I started making. I like making things, craft, like little miniatures, sort of buildings and things. I'm learning to play piano, drums. Drums are fantastic, especially for learning coordination, trying to get the body moving again. I love going to the gym, love sports. I don't like watching sport. I don't watch anything on TV. I like actually doing it. I like to get out, go for a walk. If not, go for do some sprint training. And the more resistance, the better. So like the other day, I did, like Larry mentioned, I do stair sprinting with a weighted vest. And, I like to get outside as much as I can. I think the body is built to move. And, to stay healthy, you need to keep moving.
Just wanted to bring up one quick thing. When I was in high school, we had to come up with a slogan for activity and stuff. And this girl came up with the slogan. I'm sure you guys heard it too. Use it or lose it. And like you said, the body's meant to move. So use it or lose it, folks.
Yeah, exactly right. I know a lot of people have trouble. There are a lot of people who can't move very well, or just they're stuck on the bed or couch or anything like that. But there is always something you can do.
There's sitting exercises. I mean, there's ways to start to try to get off the couch, right?
That's right.
Guys, did I miss a question from Underrated 17? Did you guys see that?
I didn't see it. I found it. It's at 2:13 your time.
2:13. Okay. Can the Bible be real and not constructed despite the term man-made? Can the biblical foods be real and wise for us to eat like real bread and pomegranate?
Well, real bread is man-made, so that's right. I mean, so if pomegranate is a fruit. I mean, if you're going to eat a natural meal, I don't think the Bible is telling us what to eat as far as a menu. I think our body kind of does that, and there's plenty of examples. So,
I actually had a lady tell me today that eating carnivore was against what the Bible teaches. She said somewhere in the Bible it says the meat's not even supposed to touch your teeth, and I said, well, I must have missed that because I'm religious and I eat a lot of meat, and I think I'm doing just fine. So I think just listen to the body that God gave you, and that would be a good gift that you could give back to God by listening to what He gave to you.
That's pecking out little information out of the Bible and trying to put it into a context bigger than that. So here's my only thoughts on this. I mean, this is a hard topic for any of us to probably really want to delve all the way into on this particular live stream. But you have to understand that the flour that we make our bread from today is not the flour that they made bread from, in biblical times.
Exactly.
They have modified our wheat. They have modified our plants. They add chemicals to the flour. They add stuff to it. Flour should not stay on your shelf stable for a long time and be able to make bread out of it. 6 months after you bought it, it's a plant. It should go bad. So they've done a lot of stuff to it, and that's why bread, I think, is probably one of the bad things. I mean, obviously there's carbohydrates in it, but there's not a lot of carbohydrates in it. But if you went back to an old style wheat that you can't even find nowadays and made bread, it would be completely different. It'd be a completely different flavor and substance that you wouldn't even probably recognize.
But
So that would be my thoughts on it.
That'd be true. But if you look back at the anthropological studies of the Egyptians who were eating a lot of bread, and they can tell by their teeth being flat, they knew because they used to stone grind bread grains back then, right? So they'd have stone in their bread, and it would grind their teeth down over time. That you could see they all had issues with their metabolic system too. You can tell by the statues, and also they mummified almost everyone, not just the rich people. They mummified the poor people too. So they're excellent sources of data points to find out what their diet did to them. And being on a diet where they're eating a lot of bread, they were metabolically ill overall. They had bad teeth. They had a lot of the same things we had. So even the old ancient grains or whatever they want to call it, or Ezekiel bread, all these things, they're still not the meal. It's starvation food, right? It's slave food. It's not the meal we're supposed to eat.
Yeah. Well, they fed most of the slaves were fed on grain,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a starvation.
That's how you keep them slaves.
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap.
And keep them alive.
And they can't think. Yeah, they can't.
Yeah,
think
exactly.
properly,
Yeah, if you go back and look at history, you'll see that the only time that there was fed in high quantity was when they were trying to just keep the population alive and not starve them completely to death. Not that they wanted them to prosper or to move on and become healthy. They just simply, wanted to keep them, as slaves. So, anyways, we'll move on from that question. I missed it by accident, but it is a difficult question, I think, for us to answer in this format where we couldn't spend a lot of time on it. But you can, definitely. I think if I would reach out to somebody like Sean, Intentional Carnivore, he'd love to have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here.
Just another thing, I don't think people need to stress too much. If they have, for example, if they have homemade, I mean, like you said, the flour is not the same like a couple of 100 years ago. But if you have a slice of bread, like every now and then, like once a week sort of thing, it's not going to kill you either. Don't stress too much about, you don't want to eat it every day.
Yeah.
But like once a week or every now and then, you're not going to really it's not going to do you any harm either. So
I find it interesting that no one ever brings up the Bible when people are eating donuts and burgers and drinking a Coke. Then it's
only when
deal.
you're doing carnivore, man.
It's not just that. I mean, it's any. So people are getting. Okay, I just think our body's meant to run a certain way. We are designed. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe God designed our bodies to run a certain way, and it's pretty obvious when you put the right fuel in the right engine, you get the right performance. If you get a drag car and you put 83 unleaded in the drag car, it's not going to run very well. You put high octane gas fuel in there, it's going to go down this 150 miles an hour or more, right? So I mean, it's just we don't. I don't know. I think you don't have to parse everything through the Bible as far as like saying, this is not what God meant for us. So we can actually listen to our bodies and see what the results are. And when cancer is being put into remission, when people's metabolic health is reversing, we know those are good fruits, right? So you can talk about the good fruits of the word, right? So these are good fruits. So we can identify a good act from good fruits. And that's what we have here.
Yeah, I never got smacked with the Bible on my old diet, man. Just on carnivore, man. I get people slap me with the Bible all the time, man. I'm doing this wrong, doing that wrong.
Yeah, eat as many donuts as you want, but
I don't know what it is. Nobody challenges me on it.
I get flack all the time, man. So.
The fact is I believe every word of the Bible, right down to the last dot. But I don't take things out of context.
Right.
You're going to read it for what it is. and a lot of people will start take one little section out, and they'll be like, well, this is what it says. Well, that's not the context of how it was written. So, if you put it in perspective to when it was written, why it was written, and who wrote it,
who the audience was,
who the audience was, who it was written to. And if you go back and do some research into the actual original language of the Bible, then you can get back into the original context and the original definition of the words used, which helps a lot because of the translations between Hebrew to, the King James Version and then all the newer versions that have come out. The translations don't cross completely, and some of the words are used and how we use them today is not how they were used at that time. But that's a story for another day. We're gonna move past that. But I'm always open for discussion. Somebody wants to reach out to me personally, we can have discussions. But I don't think we're going to drag this live out on biblical conversation tonight. I don't see any other questions in here. We were making our way around with final thoughts. David, did you have any final thoughts? Did you want to throw out there? And then we'll go to Larry, then we'll go to me.
Yeah, sure. Pretty much like JT was saying, just work on your own pace. Don't really compare. You can't really compare yourself to other people because you either have different problems, you have different circumstances. Just focus on your next step. There's people look at it. It's always good to have a goal, but you're not necessarily going to meet that goal on your time schedule. Don't look at the big picture too often because it could look really daunting at the time. So just focus on the next step. Break down what you need to do. Focus on the next step and just keep moving, and you will get there. When you start climbing a mountain, you start with the first step and the next one and the next one, and just focus on that and keep going.
Absolutely. All right, Larry.
I'm going to make mine an appeal. And the appeal is that, starting a YouTube channel is very difficult. And I think everyone needs to find all these contributors, these content creators, and support them. And by supporting them, I mean, go watch some of the videos all the way through, like and subscribe.
Watch the stupid ads.
Yeah. And the reason is, it's not just to make money and stuff, it's to get the algorithm to turn around, right? Because the algorithm has to be able to find our message like this video and put it out in front of somebody. When I'm a Jeeper, right? So I'll go back to my story. A lot of you heard it, some haven't. I was 280 pounds, no motivation. I was working on my Jeep and I had to look up how to put a part in on YouTube. And somehow this crazy video came up with Carnivore from Fregno Freedom. And that was what sent me down the rabbit hole. And that is why I'm here now. So one of us here can perfectly relate to somebody else. But if our videos aren't liked and subscribed, it won't get presented. And whoever, Dante Fregno made that video, great. But it took people liking and subscribing to get that video served up to me. So you can get in the fight. You can be part of this community proactively, by spending some time looking at some videos and liking and subscribing, especially when you see new content hit from these guys. If you subscribe and a new video comes up, you have a 24-hour window where YouTube's going to determine if that's going to be a good video or not. If you see stuff, be proactive right then and jump on that video, watch it all the way through, like it, and leave a comment. And that will actually drive the engine to get that out to other people.
If you just give a thumbs up in the comment, you've done all you need to do. I mean, you don't have to write something long in the comment. Just put something in there. I try to go through all these guys' channels and I like, great video. That's all I write. Great video. That just helps them get their videos out, because that comment, YouTube doesn't look at what you wrote. They just want the fact that you interacted. And so, just put something in there. You don't have to get elaborate. We don't need a long thing if you don't feel like talking. If you want to talk to us, we love hearing from you. But put a comment.
You could literally be saving someone's life by doing that. Literally. I mean, look at DC here. Someone liked the video that sent him this direction at some point. So his life has changed. Mine has. A lot of people, it really could. It's not just a cavalier thing. It's serious. I think it's your chance to be part of the community proactively.
And when you're dead, you won't be able to like no more videos, comment, subscribe. So do it now while you got the chance, folks. Have fun, live a little.
Make a dent in this universe.
Right.
That's what you got to do.
Kick it in its ass while you got the boots on.
Help make a change.
Yeah. That's like we all talk about. Well, someone's got to change our dietary guidelines. This is how it gets done.
Yeah.
This is by the grassroots, right? Because I guarantee you, no senator is going to change it. They're getting paid. They're getting paid by these companies. So the only way it is we make the difference. We grow into a huge grassroots movement, and then we can turn the tide. But that's going to take you. We can't do it here on us five. Can't do it. No, Dr. Barry can't do it by himself. It takes an army.
Absolutely.
Mission Carnivore. Mission Carnivore.
That's what I was saying before. It takes everyone to come together and demand a change.
Yeah.
And check out Larry's podcast, Mission Carnivore. It's the bomb.
Yeah, that's a great channel.
All right, so let me go through this real quick. So up here at the top is me. I'm Carnivore Backwoods at YouTube. Make sure you jump on there, like, subscribe, and comment, on our post. Next to me here is JT. He's at the Poco Moonshine Family. Make sure you give him some love. Over here you got Brian. He's at wickivore, wickivore. So give him some love. Larry down here is at Carnivore Soldier. Follow him down there. And then DC is David is DC's learning to live. And his channel, that channel should explode. You should share that channel with every single person Anybody that's in the carnivore community needs to subscribe to that channel. People need to hear his message. And so,
if you got any old footage, David, of you in the hospital, make sure try to put it in some videos. Look back at whatever you might have.
Yeah, I've got some old photos, but that's about it.
Okay, do what you can do.
All right, so here's my my closing on this. Look, everybody's health journey is different. Obviously, mine's different than JT's and Brian's and Larry's, and DC is fighting something that none of us, the rest of us couldn't even completely comprehend. And we're in awe of his ability to sit here and to fight and struggle through it. And that is worth celebrating. So make sure that you're giving DC some love. Subscribe to his channel, like his content, write some comments in there for him. Let him know that you're following him.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
I have a live. Well, I'm gonna be live on Wednesday with Larry, at his Hump Day meetup, and I've got a live with former fat girl. She's gonna be interviewing me, so I'm gonna be telling my story again for those of you that haven't heard it. And then next Sunday we're gonna have our live here, and we got Dr. Tony Hampton is going to be on the roundtable with us to answer your questions. So make sure mark your calendars, share that out there, let people know. We're looking for questions, and we're looking to support Dr. Hampton. And thank him for being out here and supporting the community. So make sure you come in and watch that. And then Sunday night I have an interview with Carnivore Kip. And so that's going to be a great thing to get on. If you haven't heard Kip's story, then definitely tune in for that on my channel. And then the following Sunday, and I haven't posted this yet on YouTube, but I'm getting ready to put it all together. I'm waiting on a final approval on my description for the YouTube live. But Dr. Kiltz is going to be on our live Carnivore Roundtable on the 22nd. And so that's big news. I'm excited. I'm excited to have him. That man has so much energy. I watch his 5 o'clock live every morning when I get up, and he's an inspiration to the whole community. So if you got time, definitely think about stopping in and checking that out. What's that? Oh, and then Saturday the 14th, my wife just reminded me because I just scheduled this. I'm having a homestead chat. So it'll be non-carnivore. I'm having a conversation with two brothers outdoors. They have a YouTube channel. I've been following them since they were just had a couple hundred subscribers. Now they're pushing, several thousand. They do sawmilling and outdoor stuff. And he's done some, some keto along the way. So there is some of that in there, but most of this is just going to be about homesteading and sawmilling. So definitely, if you want to get something a little different than carnivore and something a little bit more entertaining, these two guys are great. I love them to death. I've been following them a long time, so I'm excited to be able to interview them for my channel. With that, anybody else have anything else they want to throw out there before I pull the plug on this?
Thank you and goodbye.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Actually, just one thing. Remember, take responsibility for your food, and that is a way to freedom. Get off the dependence of the drugs. Okay.
All right, guys. I'm going to put up my closing screen here. 10 seconds. If you mute your mics, I'll catch you after I close the live.